November.
We're live, but it doesn't start to another minute there.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just
we painted and had a little damage. We got the roof repaired a couple of months ago, and a little damage still. We're just trying to not have to replace any. What is that stuff called?
Plaster.
Yeah, not have to replace sheetrock. Thank you. Yeah, so we got to go back in and paint for it. Then we're just spraying Clorox to kind of abate it.
That kills.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and do the kills up there. That's it. Yeah.
And you know what? It's kind of nice because I live in a house that was built in 1881 by John Sunday. You know John Sunday, who he is?
Well, a little bit, yes.
So I live in a John Sunday.
Not because I'm black.
Yeah.
Are you all ready? We're ready.
Oh, we're live. Oh,
yeah, we're ready to go. Welcome to the Pensacola Network, everyone.
Hey, welcome to the Pensacola Network. Happy June, happy Pride Month, happy summer, happy almost getting back to normal, whatever that is, normal month. Yay.
Who's that guy you're hanging out with there?
I'm gonna tell you, I like my husband, Denzel, and now Robert. I'm just saying, y'all will meet Robert Villanova here shortly, but it is so good to have. We hadn't had anybody in July when we had Reverend H.K. Matthews. So you are sitting in the seat of icons.
I'm very honored, sir.
You are sitting in seat of icons. Yeah, so we are happy. This is our final show for virtual, and we're really excited that y'all are here. We're excited Robert is here sharing with us, and Lord have mercy, we're just excited to be alive, grateful.
So Robin, you didn't get the memo about we'll be still streaming at our live event?
I don't mean to call you boy, but you should make me call you boy. You know I don't like calling you boy. Don't make me work hard. I'm not looking to hug. I'm not looking to look at a camera. I'm looking to look at some peoples. We need some folks.
You videotape the event, in person always. So it'll also be a camera up there to stream live as well.
Yeah, but I don't pay attention to it. I just vibe off people sitting there like I'm vibing off of Robert now. So we will be, yes, you're right. For people who are not vaccinated or who are not ready to come back in public. But I will ask you to be there because we are going to have, just telling Robert, we are going to have a fantastic celebration. It is going to be, can I use the word fabulous again?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fabulous times
always
two.
a good word.
Yes, we're going to have Polian, so drumming, dancing. We're going to invite the audience to dance. It's just going to be a stone cold celebration, as Don Cornelius would say, stone cold. So, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Those anniversary events are always pretty exciting.
Yeah. I was saying I may do the Watusi. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm already impressed. I'll be there. See that.
We're going to be celebrating.
Yeah. So what's the entertainment you got lined up for the anniversary event?
Polian has been with us from day one, helping out with our anniversary and, celebrating. He does the percussions. He is a state master folklorist, and so we're really excited. So just to put a plug in, they're doing the down at DeLuna Park tomorrow, the old Bayfront. They're doing the installation, and Polian and Palimbatry are going to be playing down there. So we're excited about that. And so he's gonna have drumming, we're going to have some dancing, we're going to have Misunderstood, the comedian, back. Remember, she was here.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, virtually, so she will be here in person. And
she
then
dropped the mic virtually, didn't she, the last time
she dropped? Yeah, she literally dropped. First time we've had that, she dropped the mic.
That's a slick. That would be that almost on purpose.
Yes. So we're gonna. It's just gonna be a celebration of life and gratitude, happiness, and we're going to honor those who have passed. And it is unfortunately a lot. So we're just come to celebrate. And as Robert Hill from WRNE said this morning, is getting the dwarf chicken back in dwarf chicken caters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be really excited. Yes.
That's good stuff.
Yes, good stuff. Yeah, finger licking
and
good stuff.
When is that? What's the date again?
What's the
23rd, the 23rd of July, the fourth Friday.
Friday, July 23rd. Yes. So put it on your calendar. to celebrate, come with the mask with the hole in it so you can put that chicken wing in the front. I don't know. I'm a little bit happy, huh?
Yeah, and so I wonder if Niecy's gonna make some banana pudding.
Well, I think between you and Eddie Todd, I think she doesn't have any choice. Banana pudding, yes.
I'll be third in line.
You'll be okay.
I'll be
All
third in
right,
line.
all right. Lloyd Richard, Eddie Todd, Robert Villanova. Yes, get her banana pudding. Yes, it'll be a fight over it, right? Right.
Yes.
Food fight.
Yes.
Yeah, we're excited and to thank all of our sponsors too for sticking in with us through this since March 2020, continuing the partnership so we can make all of this free for people, and especially we're gonna have a little bit extra. We know we need some extra food when we celebrate.
Yes. Yes, and so I'm showing all of our founding sponsors up there right now, and we also have some corporate sponsors and some individual sponsors and some small business sponsors. So we appreciate all the support from everyone, and especially, we haven't missed an event in 8 years. So since we started, so we've been doing it, every month except for except for December each year. So. And we're all excited to continue.
Yeah. We're really excited. Yeah.
And we also have partners like True for Youth. They've been supporting us in DeVilliers Square. Yeah, DeVilliers Square. We host the event at DeVilliers Square, and I know everybody's looking forward to getting back in the atrium there and enjoying some beer and wine and
grown-up juice, baby, grown-up juice.
and maybe some tea or lemonade or something. Who knows?
Yeah, our media partners too. We really want to thank WRND, Cumulus, the Pensacola News Journal, Cat Country, WEAR TV, Real Women Radio. Say that 10 times.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, all of our media partners. And those of you who have fantastic email list, or what do you call those, Facebook friends on Facebook, who continue to share every month. That really does matter to us. I always say we ain't got no money to mail nothing. I know that ain't right English, but we do appreciate all of the partnerships and media as well.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly right. So you were gonna pay some respect and send prayers down to South Florida.
Yes, those souls that perished in the Surfside, the condominium and Surfside down in the Miami-Dade County area. Those who don't know, those family members and friends who are holding on to hope, as we all should be. The rescuers, the first responders who, we run away when something like that happens, and they run right to it. The firefighters and fire rescue and all of those experts who do are first on the scene and help out like that. We really do appreciate all of that, and just send our prayers and thoughts to everyone down there, everyone trying to help. And there are a number of ways that you can help. It's they said it's a lot of folks from that were visiting. It's a heavy tourist area. It's a Jewish community, Hispanic community, so many cultures that were in that one building. And so they have a lot of different ways that you can help out, whether it's through the American Red Cross or donate, look at any of the newspapers and the News Journal or Miami Herald, or any way to see how you can help out with that. Uh-oh, do we lose? I think we lost. I can't hear you, babe.
I had my mic off for a second there.
There you go.
Well, this technology is a little challenging sometimes. Yes. So, any other announcements we have for any other upcoming events?
Oh, a lot of events this weekend. So the Middle Passage ceremony, it's at 10 o'clock down at the park tomorrow. The Legion Field park, the renovation that they're doing that's at 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay.
Over Legion Field. And then here we're at the Kakua Institute. Robert, first time inside. We're at the Kakua Institute Village, and we're having an open house tomorrow from 1 to 3. And you can bring your children, grandchildren, yourselves to play with the robots, our humanoid robots, insect robots, test out the virtual reality, all in a building that's 111 years old. So as long as you're under 111 years old, you can come. If you are older than 111 years old, call me and I'm coming to you. So you are welcome to come. It's the Kakua Institute. You can look at it for it on Facebook, and we're really excited to have that open house. And that's for our summer programs that we've already restarted.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's got a lot of history to it.
Yes. So that's real. Yeah, we want to thank everybody for joining us, and the folks out on Facebook. Feel free to put your questions in the comments there, and the folks online here at Hoppin, put your questions in the chat, and we'll try to keep an eye out for them and get them answered. All righty. So you ready to roll there, young lady?
I am. You called me young. I'm ready, bro. I'm ready. I am.
All right.
I am ready. Yeah, I see this light coming in on Robert. That's a good sign.
Okay.
That's our name.
That's right. We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
We are.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'll be in backstage here, so if y'all need me, just holla.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Lloyd.
All right. Bye-bye.
You ready?
I am.
And we've already been rolling. I feel
Oh, yeah.
like we're twin souls here. So from the folks, as Lloyd said, Facebook Live and on the platform that you doing, I'm going to do this for you. But I'm going to say welcome to the Pensacola Network Show. Yay! I told Robert, I said we don't have what's her name, Barbara Walters or Oprah Winfrey Cameron, so we don't have an applause thing. We do this ourselves. We are our own studio audience. So this is June, yay. Like we were talking about, we are almost back in person. You are our final guest for virtual. Well, thank you. Thank you for making way to do this. We really do appreciate this. And this month we're going to be talking, it's Pride Month, celebrating LGBTQ community and all of the different cultures that involves, and all of the different love that involves this month, just celebrating the humanness of all of us. And so I'm really excited that Robert is here for that. And so, thank you. Thank you. Isn't it great to hug again? Lord have mercy. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. And so we're talking about the color of money, LGBTQ Buying Power. And so in 1983, the NAACP launched a pretty intentional campaign to show the power of the African-American dollar. And it had been done before in the 60s and the 70s. It wasn't anything new, but it was really ambitious. And banks came on, they were doing $2. They were marking the dollars with the black dollar to show how it recirculates. The executive director at the time was the Honorable Benjamin Hooks, and he said, money can do more for us than pay our bills. Our black dollars can be our tool for better jobs, for getting businesses to utilize black professionals, black service firms, and black producers. They tell business that we will spend our money with people who give us a fair share in their expenditures. Fast forward to about 1999, and may even been a little bit before, here in Pensacola, the G&L Bank was started by a team of investors and was spearheaded by Stephen Dunlap. I wanted to say Duncan, Stephen Dunlap. And as a part of that bank opening, showing the power of the dollar, they marked dollars in pink and with the rainbow flag. And then that showed the power, the economic power of the LGBTQ community here. So we're talking about that. I'm so excited that Robert Bellanova is here with Randall's Formal Wear co-owner, I was about to say co-founder, co-owner of Randall's Formal Wear here in Pensacola and in Mobile.
Correct.
And so please welcome Robert Villanova.
Thank you. Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
So let's talk first. We're twins.
Yeah.
I have another twin named Tom.
Oh.
I know, so we'll probably be triplets, but they'll probably just tell us apart because you have on beige and I have on black. It's probably the only way. But so our names, you were telling me when we were meeting over the phone that our names, I was saying that Robin is the female derivative of Robert,
Right.
and you told me the meaning of that name.
In Gaelic, it actually means bright fame.
Oh, I'm
So
standing
this light on us today is very appropriate. So
bright fame.
Mhm.
Oh,
that's kind of
okay.
cool. Kind of cool.
All right. Denzel, you better watch out. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So when I first talked to Robin on the phone, I just fell in love with her. So
Oh.
that was just a credit to you. because
It is
Very
our
sweet.
name. It is.
I
our-
almost couldn't wait to get here, just
Oh.
so we could engage. So
And then I like names.
Yeah.
And so you said Bella Nova. I was saying Bella means beautiful, and Nova means
there's two, a star or news.
okay.
So
Okay.
either one, that's whatever.
Well, that's if you see a star, that's some good news, right?
I guess at
so
nighttime it can
beautiful.
be-
Yeah,
not a
beautiful star, beautiful news.
news.
And so that is Italian.
Correct.
So a little bit of Gaelic, a little bit of Italian.
Well, Robert is Gaelic, I guess.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
it's like, I was my grandfather's name. So-
Okay.
And they actually immigrated here from Italy. We celebrated the 100-year, it's about 110 years now since our grandparents immigrated.
Directly to Pensacola.
Well, our grandmother immigrated from Italy to New Orleans, and our grandfather immigrated from Italy to New York,
Okay.
and they did not know each other. She was 14, he was probably 18. And then he was in John Philip Sousa's band.
Who came here and
And they
performed
came
at
here,
the- at
they came,
the
he was in
Opera
the,
House.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay, and then she went to hear the band, and they liked each other. And
Uh-huh.
then he said, "Hey, come with me come with me on the road." And her mother, our great grandmother, said, "You ain't going nowhere."
Little girl.
So he stayed here, and they got married. They had 10 children,
Wow.
and then so we're Pensacola homebred. My dad was the first generation here, and we're second generation.
It's always a man, huh?
Pensacola.
Always a man. She
Oh,
found her man,
she
huh?
found her man.
her man.
Well, he found her a good woman.
He found him.
She was we never knew him, but we knew her. And so, as a matter of fact, I live in her home.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
her home was built by John Sunday.
That is amazing.
Downtown Pensacola, so we're very,
That is amazing. And when was it? I'm going to get off the subject here. When you mentioned John Sunday,
right.
it was built.
It was built in 1881.
Wow.
So, and I still want to look up that history and find out
Sure.
exactly if there's any photographs or anything like that.
Sure.
So we have a really
sure.
good connection to the Pensacola heritage and the
Nice.
downtown, and just the people that,
Yeah.
we love Pensacola. I say
Yeah.
we, my whole family.
Yeah. Your husband David,
Davey.
Davey,
Like
excuse
Davey.
me, like I'm
Right.
getting off.
And,
here. Okay.
and then my twin brother Richard and all of our siblings. So
Oh, how do I know that you're not Richard?
you had just asked me, and
Okay, you'll tell the truth. Okay.
people do. They ask that question all the time. I said, "Well, just ask me. I'll tell you which one we are." So
Are you identical twins?
we are identical, but they were classified as actually being mirror twins. He's left-handed, I'm right-handed,
I know.
but he'll favor this and I'll favor that.
Okay.
So I guess his right brain and I'm left brain or whatever.
So identical mirror twins.
Correct.
Okay, I promise we're going to get to the topic, but this is so fascinating. So it's always good to know someone.
Well, we're just getting to know each
Yeah.
other anyway, so it's kind of nice to.
Yeah. So we're talking about the economic buying power, and I mentioned in the opening that you are the co-owner, along with Richard,
Correct.
of Randall's Formal Wear. And so I asked you earlier about Randall. Randall was the earlier owner.
Yeah, Randall's was actually was founded in Denver, Colorado, back in the 1940s. And in its heyday, back in as recently as the 60s, it had over 200 stores. And Pensacola was actually the actual last store that was built to be Randall's.
These were corporate stores,
It was
not
all-
franchises.
They were all they were corporate stores at the
corporate
time.
stores.
And then he disengaged and franchised everything out in the 70s. And then my brother and I in 1985.
Okay.
So we've been owners now of the store for 35 years, I guess. Yeah, about 35 years.
What was the climate like for the LGBTQ community when you were in business back in the 80s?
It was,
Well, I guess we're really in the 70s. You were managing the store.
I started in '79.
Okay.
So, I'm very fortunate. I was married before, and I had a wife, and we're still very good friends. Matter of fact, our anniversary would be tomorrow.
Oh.
And so, she just sent me a card and a little gift. I just got it today.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
we're very good friends. Anyway, but what I mean is, so I really didn't come out on the scene until maybe the mid '90s. So, but we were store, and I've just never seen the prejudices, not only the gay community, but the black community too. We catered to everybody. We didn't really, and it was kind of funny because economically, in our parking lot, there could have been a Maverick,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a Volkswagen, and there was a Mercedes.
Wow,
At the same
okay.
time. So our demographics were, just everybody needed a
tuxedo.
when they need it. So it was kind of neat to see. So we engaged in all different kind of age groups and economic groups, and I think that's one reason why it was so easy. It was easy for me to be in that kind of job because I didn't see color, and I didn't see finances. I didn't see sexuality. I just saw the person and the customer.
So I was mentioning to you about what in tourism, what we talked about, and especially me had talked about, was this whole idea about diversity, and where some people may not have welcomed African Americans. And I'm saying, if you don't welcome me, then welcome my green dollar.
We did see that, isn't it?
You did see that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's unfortunate. I mean, I tend to prefer not to see that, but when it's right in your face, you have to address it, you have to see it. And we did see a few instances, but really it was mostly like a lot of for wedding couples. Now it's very common to have, let's say if they have 6 groomsmen, 2 or 3 white and 2 or 3 black, and
okay.
it's all very, very mixed now. But back then it was really, I hate to say that it was all either this or that.
So all one particular culture or one race or ethnicity.
Correct. That was in the 80s.
Okay.
And it was very, if you had a wedding party come in, you knew if they walked in the door, usually that person, if they were of color or not, that's the wedding party they were in.
Okay.
Okay.
So if the groom was black, you would assume that all the groomsmen were black.
Correct. And it was pretty much that way.
And the bride, and you would assume that that groomsman's bride was, and I'm going to correct myself and say spouse, because I do want to know, since we're talking about LGBT, did you see in those early days, were people coming in and saying, I want to get either married or, and I know the early term, the civil union, and even not being federally recognized, but being either recognized in a religious ceremony or a civil ceremony?
That's a very good question. Civil unions were happening, but they weren't formal. The girls would wear something from the department stores, and the guys would wear maybe a suit, or they would just go in their casual outfits because it wasn't recognized. It wasn't really.
So not two gentlemen coming in to say.
Rarely happened. Now it's more common. Very common. I'd say probably in the past, easily 10 years, but more common now. 7 years ago.
Did the dollar follow that increase? Did you start seeing an increase?
Yeah. And not all. I think all of our tuxedo stores in Pensacola, I think, are affirming, but which we're blessed to be that way. I think Pensacola is a nice little gem in this as far as what I've seen. It's as far as the gay community, it's not a push and pull, and I think it's because of the dollars, unfortunately. Because when someone comes in and they want to register a wedding, and if it's 2 boys or 2 girls, they'd be foolish to not cater to them. It's because of where. But and I can tell you some stories, but I won't take the time.
Well, but there was some pushback initially, and then that's why and I want to really thank David Richburg, who I'm hoping to have on later, just even talking about this whole idea of investment and development. He told me the story about, I had heard about it, but he told me the details about when Janelle Bank, which was gay and lesbian bank that was started in '99, came around, that there was this they did the stamping, and he said that
Yes.
Stephen Dunlap did 10,000. They did $10,000.
Right.
Stamp this money, dollar bills, and he said that they could not have bought the marketing that came
That kind of
from that
advertising.
kind of advertisement
Correct.
that came from that was really powerful. And again, akin to what I said that Dr. Hooks talked about in the 80s and that they were doing in the 60s and 70s in the African American community.
Right. They,
Yeah.
when that came out, and I think, like you mentioned, the Gmail Bank, I believe, started like September or towards the end of the year 1999. So right at the year 2000, which is, remember, was people were skittish about the year 2000.
Oh,
Remember, I mean, they're worried about
That's
all these
right.
things going
That's
on.
right.
None of
That's
that,
right.
but with the computer systems.
that's right.
crashing
Training
and
from
stuff.
1999. I was in banking then, and,
So,
and
you
we
know,
had to stay in the
Right.
bank.
You know
Yes.
how exactly that binary system was
That's
really
right.
kind of iffy.
Yeah.
If the world didn't come to an end, was how is the computers going to work? But as you know, it's a non-issue. But that following Memorial Day is when they really started stamping the money,
Okay.
because the economic impact that Memorial Day has in Pensacola for years before that and years afterwards
Mhm.
has been phenomenal for that one weekend, big influx of money coming in. So, and it was very evident with that little pink triangle and that little rainbow flag on those dollars. And I don't know what bill they did use. It was 5 or 1s or 10s, or maybe all of them. I really,
He told me that they used ones.
It was
that they
ones,
stamped
okay.
ones, and there may have been akin to what the NAACP did, that others would do like the $2 bill, so that they wouldn't stamp
It
it,
would
then they
be-
would just get the $2 bill to recognize. Which is, you know, if you see a $2 bill now, you're like, I'm going to keep
You
that.
wanna keep
You
it,
wanna
right, yeah, I got a stack of
But
them.
yeah. So just to show as a visual representation of what the power is. So if you don't want to buy from me because I'm African American, because I'm gay, then you want to buy from me because my money's green.
and you hate to say that, but I think, you know,
But,
that
you
it's
know,
the
money-
reality.
money talks and-
Money is, the color of money is green.
Yeah.
And no matter who walks in whatever facility they're going into, if they've got the dollars, it's
Yeah.
like the old adage too. If you see a bum come in, like for instance, the Julia Roberts movie,
Mhm.
My Best
Oh,
Friend,
Pretty Woman. Mhm.
She comes in and the girls thought, well, not gonna, and then you missed out,
Yes.
big time.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's that kind of analogy too. That just people's appearance. That some people, I prefer to think it's gotten better. I'm hoping it has, both for the Black community and for the gay community. That people don't see that.
Mhm.
They're more accepting. I'm hoping, but I'm an optimist.
Okay.
So I do feel that hopefully that will be. I think our children are better responsive than our grandparents were. If that makes
So,
any sense.
It does. So money talks, but it also walks. So have you seen in your business when you, because you're, as they say, out of the
Yeah.
closet, have you seen where people have not chosen to do business with you because of who you love?
I'll be honest with you. I know it's happened because I've heard, but I haven't personally, like no one comes to my face and say that but I'm sure there's some people that say, oh, well, they are that way or they're gay friendly. So if we have an option to go someplace that may not be. And if they really have a stronghold against that
Your
lifestyle,
love.
the lifestyle, right, or the love, then they very well may choose not. Matter of fact, we just had a lesbian couple that came to our store because they live, and I'm not going to say too much information about it, but
Sure.
they live in a little town outside of Pensacola, and they've been dealing with that company forever. And when they found out they were going to use their suits for their wedding, the two girls' weddings, there's two families had used them forever. They came together to get married themselves, and they refused to service them. So all their friends were going to Randall's. Well, I was surprised to hear
Wow.
that. I'm really surprised in 2021 that really
Wow.
happened, and that I was just surprised. So that just happened last week.
Yeah.
So it's still happening.
Yes, absolutely.
If you would have told me 2 weeks ago that happened, I said, oh, not anymore, and then it just happened.
Well, and
So it does happen.
I think even by a sort of omission, that if someone chooses not to come into your store,
Right.
because you don't know if they're doing it for whatever particular reason, they say, well, I had a choice
Yeah.
to do it. So there is a National Gay and Lesbian Chamber, National LGBT, I got GNL in my head, National LGBT Chamber of Commerce, and they talk They say that they have certified over 1,600 LGBT owned business enterprises,
Oh, okay.
which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Incidentally, they were started in 2002, which is when G&L closed.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
They're only around for about 3 years.
Yeah. And G&L was the first or one of the first internet-based banks too. So I thought it was interesting that kind of close tie.
And it was scary with that 2000 thing going on too at that time. So, and it was new. And people, I remember when I heard about it, I thought, that ain't gonna work. But
Yeah.
obviously it has.
Yeah,
So that's the way of the
yeah.
world now. So.
And the other thing that LGBT-owned businesses contributed an estimated $1.7 trillion to the U.S. economy. That number just floored me. So it is a smaller percentage of businesses that they have certified. Doesn't mean that they're not there, that they have certified. But that number did. Where do you think that that the LGBTQ community is spending their money?
That's a good question. I wouldn't assume that every gay person in Pensacola comes to our store. See what I'm saying? And I would prefer not to think that that's the way it is. I think go for your convenience, go for the time factor, go for what that store has to offer, and maybe I don't have to offer. That's what I would think they would make their choices from. So that's what I would sanction. Yeah, that's a good choice. Yeah, go that other place because, matter of fact, we do have, for instance, Men's Warehouse. They're open until 9, and
Okay.
they're around the country. So some grooms, they don't get off till 6, and we're closed.
Okay.
So they kind of have to. Plus, 3 or 4 of their grooms are out of town, and they have Men's Warehouse in those cities. So I would tell them to do yourself a favor. It may be better too. And I'll be the first person to say that to you.
This portion is not sponsored by Men's Wear.
No. Well, what I mean is,
No,
yeah,
I'm kidding.
that's how we do it.
Sure.
But then as you mentioned, gay-owned businesses, I have a twin brother who's in my partnership, and he's straight. So are we a gay-owned operation or a straight-owned operation? So we kind of have a nice little blend here. So if someone says, well, we're not going to use you because of this, I say, well, okay.
Let me get Richard.
Go in the other. We have 2 front doors, so you can only go through the right door, go through the left door, because you'll see.
You really do have 2 front doors.
We really do have 2 front doors, yes, ma'am. So isn't that funny? I just thought about that. It was pretty clever, but
It harkens back to and we're in the first Greek church in the city, but
I think that's
isn't
phenomenal.
that amazing?
Yeah.
But a lot of historic churches would have, and not Greek, but a lot of had a door for men and a door for women.
Sure.
You did not go into the same door.
Well, and unfortunately, they had it the same way for the white community and the black community.
If you even went in the same
you
door,
were- correct.
and they were even segregated
Right.
by the black folks sat in the balcony. Well, now
That's
you got to
exactly
pay more
right.
money.
And there's a church around the corner on Davis Highway that my church used to be in that church, and they had the side door where it went right up to the balcony. Back in in like the 1920s, where the black community they went up to the balcony, and then where the white people go main front doors.
Wow.
Yeah, I never knew that. There was history. I said, why is that door here? And they said, well, that was for the black folks.
And it led right upstairs.
It led right up to the.
Wow.
right up to the
Well, we'll
balcony.
talk about that after this.
Yeah.
Want to put your
Yeah,
church
I
on
know,
full
we got too
blast.
much
We all looking for grace
Yeah.
and mercy.
She brought me to church earlier today. I was all about the spirit of talking to this young lady. So, thank you.
Well, I think it is telling when someone says, I choose not to, or because there is not. So if I walk into a store, people will say, well, here comes an African-American woman.
Yeah.
If you walk into a store, they will go, here comes a man. They won't identify you by race. They won't identify you by sexuality. They won't identify you by wealth,
Height and weight or anything.
height or weight or anything else. Yeah. They'll say, well, he's got blonde hair and coming in. Yeah.
It is a prejudice thing. Even someone who's overweight or slim, just visually, it is a. And you're right. When people come in, you automatically have your preset notions about what's going to happen. So I don't know if that's ever. The only consolation I have towards that thought is that thought was around way before we were born. It's probably around, and unfortunately, may still perpetuate itself. But I just like to feel like it's getting better.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic that there were times where you almost think it couldn't gotten any worse. and I think things are better now. There's still slow progression with the gay community and with the Black community. I think our communities are I think we've slinky back and forth. I think we've been very sympathetic towards each other's causes because we've had those struggles.
Well, and
We've had to hide, and like you were saying, it's hard for a person of color to hide.
Yeah, I would want to. I'm going to see all of this fines get to. No, I understand.
50 years ago or 100 years ago, you couldn't really hide, whereas a gay person couldn't ask themselves.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I wanted to address when you asked me the question about civil unions. They weren't getting married in churches. They weren't getting married in fancy hotels or anything where they would wear a tux or a gown too. So their clothes were more simple because they were just being more but now that they can get married in churches and get married, so they are using the facilities.
I suspect part of that I don't say argument, part of that conversation is that who you love, gay, LGBT, who you love is not a religious question, right. But that it is a question of, and you hearken back to, I keep saying hearken, I've been writing and saying hearken a lot here. You went back to the struggle with the African Americans had with equality, that it's a civil rights issue and a human rights issue and not a religious issue. That if the famous Lin-Manuel Miranda says love is love is love. And so regardless of your religious affiliation or not, if you believe in the power of love, then you believe in the power of love, and it shouldn't be colored by race or gender, ethnicity, or any other label.
And I think that's I do think that love can conquer all. If everybody's willing to accept it, and the biggest challenge of all of us is to not only to love each other, but to be able to accept that love from each other. So I think that's with the Black community and with the queer community, that sometimes queer people don't love themselves. And same with people of color, I think, because they've been
called internalized oppression.
It's internalized oppression. Exactly. But your quote you said at the beginning of the segment here today, the gentleman that said money cannot only does it sustain our lives, but it can also buy us power and buy us position. It can show people that we have a right to be here, based on how even what he was saying. So unfortunately, money talks. And
well, that does go back to my question, and perhaps as I thought about it, it may not have been a fair question, because I think what I would have, I should have known or should have, stated that the money, as we said earlier, it's not pink, it's not black, it's not LGBT. So that if I'm buying a house, then I'm buying a house, and my value should be the same. So that where are LGBT people spending their money? They're spending it exactly where anyone else spends their money, because you need housing, because you need transportation, because you need food and safety and all of those things like anyone else does.
And I think each individual person, if they're very strong about a cause, and if it's the gay cause, they may choose not to shop at a place that's not affirming, and they may seek out a place that is. Just on the converse, like you're saying, some people that say, I'm not going to support that kind of thing, so they're going to purposely, if they find a place that does affirm, that they're going to not shop there. So it's just human nature, I suppose, or human not understanding, or I don't know. It's a shame that happens, but it's actually a reality. That people are going to shop where it may not be the best deal or the best offer or the best quality, but like there's a chicken sandwich place that apparently is not affirming, that a lot of people don't go to. A lot of gay people don't go because they don't have the affirmation clause. And actually they stand more against it with the legislation and stuff. So a lot of people don't, but a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So, that makes sense.
Yeah. And there are, I'm sure, I think you're talking about Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby.
I'm glad you said
that's
that.
okay. I think Hobby Lobby has taken very vocal stands against the lifestyle, or as someone said, the life. It's a life, not a lifestyle, in their practices. And so then have you seen, as a business owner, have you seen where, so we talked about the customers, but have you seen where vendors are either supporting or not supporting, or as you say, affirming, or does it matter?
I really haven't seen it. I'll be honest with you. I really haven't. I mean, if it's there, I haven't noticed it. It could be there subliminally. But like you said, if I'm going to write a check to a vendor to buy a line of clothing, they're gonna take my check.
Yeah.
So yeah. Because there's a lot of our suppliers that are run by Jewish faith
Okay.
families, and you may have someone who is against that for some silly reason, but there's no place else to get that stuff.
To get
So
that
they're
product
gonna
or
get it.
Okay.
Because if they don't, they're not going to be able to sell what they're trying to sell. So you got to think, you have to wonder about people's motives and say, it's okay for this reason, but not okay for that reason.
Yeah.
So they're crossing it must be hard on them in their brain cell to say what's okay this way, but not okay that way.
It does, and I think it's the human condition. I think it's that we try to toe a particular road and say we have this particular stance or this particular value, and when it's challenged, then I think we get a little kind of off balance. Yeah,
Exactly.
and we have to face ourselves. So it really has nothing to do with. I think I was telling you earlier, I stopped calling people when they or ageism, genderism, or any other. I stopped saying all the isms. I just said it's crazy.
And that's a good word.
You don't want all of my
Very
fine self. You don't
appropriate.
want all of your fine self. Then okay, let me take this in my green dollar or somewhere,
Someplace
somewhere else. Yeah. Does it matter who's in the White House? Has politics influenced the way that the LGBT, and I know you're not speaking for the whole community, but you're here in this seat.
Sure.
That the LGBTQ community spends it all. Have you seen any influence in politics?
I'm sure it's there, but we're kind of our business is a boutique business, so not everybody needs what I have to offer every day. So that question would be a good question to ask someone who's more in the mainstream of retail, like to buy clothing or to food or other commodity. But if someone needs a tux or a suit, they're going to make a few calls and they're going to go where they choose to go. And I really haven't seen that economic situation in our business.
You don't see an increase
Like, who's
in
the
business
president?
and yeah.
Personally,
around
I've got
inauguration.
a lot of opinions about our past administrations and stuff. I mean, I think that just what happened to being kind and being civil and being polite, especially when you're on the forefront. You can't be rude or but then again, there's something to say about being knowing where someone stands right away instead of being kind of two-sided or behind them. So there's something to say about that too.
When the proverbial agenda is right on the table.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to put yourself aside and say what's good for my general people.
Yeah.
And what's good for the population. So I once again, I'm hoping that it's getting back to being more humanitarian situation. We're all related.
It's only one earth.
I mean, we're all brother and sister.
it's only one earth, right?
And we're sharing it, and it's all borrowed time.
Yeah.
It's amazing because in a few years from now, what was all this hatred for? When you're on your deathbed, are you going to be so proud of some of the things you did when it involved hate, or are you going to be more proud of the things you did because it involved love? One
of my favorite shows is The Jeffersons, and
so
of this last year after the George Floyd murder, I had been going between The Jeffersons and All in the Family with Archie Bunker. And the reason that I like both of those, I mean, they're funny. The writing was amazing, immaculate. I could see myself in The Jeffersons, not that they were moving on up or anything, but I could see myself in them in terms of the family unit, the want for your children to have a better education. The reason I like The Jeffersons and All in the Family is that you knew where George and
Louise.
What was Archie?
Archie, yeah.
You knew where they stood,
right.
And so they were very out and very open. And you could also see the arc of their of their story. But it brings me to the point that when you talk about where this agenda, where people stand in that one of the episodes of the Jeffersons, they were doing a CPR class, and George ended up taking CPR, but he was ended up giving CPR to a gentleman who was part of the Ku Klux Klan. And he saved his life. And he said when he found out, when this gentleman who was white found out that George Jefferson, a black man, saved his life, he said to his son is the one who told him, his son had been in on these Ku Klux Klan meetings. He said, "You should have let me die." And his son, in that instance, you could see his arc, because here he was following in his father's footsteps. But when this happened and he saw the hatred that his father had against even living, as opposed to, or for dying, as opposed to living because his black man saved your life.
Breathe life back.
Breathe life back into him.
Wow.
Then you could see
That's
this.
powerful.
Absolutely, you could see the son's arc
Makes
in
you-
that instant. That's why I say the writing is amazing.
Makes you want to go home and look at that, because I watched that quite a bit. I don't remember seeing that particular episode. It makes you want to go back and
Yeah. I think
Google that,
it's
you know.
like it has something to do with the meeting. Like they don't know that they're in a KKK meeting.
Yeah.
It's around
Obviously, they wouldn't
CPR.
walk into it. And that's why I'm surprised that's even still around.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like I said,
The
if you would have said 2 weeks ago that that's still around, I'd say, no, it's not. And then maybe next week, I may see something that's evident that it is, and I'm going, wow, I had no idea that.
Yeah, it's still around. You know, I will not speak for the black community. I can speak from my experience as a black woman. I guess we need to start wrapping up here. I'll have Lloyd come back on. No, we're good. We're good. And
I like her, Lloyd.
and
Good people. Good people.
I was telling a group that we were a part of that, you know, as when you say this, as just as recently as a few weeks ago, being walked around in the store, you hear this so much from African Americans who are and mixed race people and the people of color who are followed in the store, who have these particular encounters simply because of their race.
You mean
And-
by like the patrol person or the
by a salesperson or whomever, you know, making assumptions about
profiling?
you. Yeah, absolutely. So it does go harkens back to the Julia Roberts deal, when that if you do not like me, then that means you do not like my money. And so when she fans the money and says, "Look what you could have," and then brings back
you missed out big time or something.
the Black American Express
Oh,
card
yeah,
or whatever,
yeah.
brings that
The next day.
brings
Remember me?
brings that
Yeah.
back. Yeah. What do you think, as we close, and we'll invite folks for questions, what do you think is the power of the dollar in the LGBTQ community?
Oh, I think it's a big impact, especially just that one weekend Memorial Day. I think it brings in only like $5 million for a 3-day period. One about the economic impact that the gay community has in Pensacola, because we have a large LGBT community here. I don't know how other cities compare, what percentage it may be, but we have a very vibrant, active community, and a lot of guys and girls that stay home too. A lot of people that are out and about as well. So I think it does feed through the mainstream of the economy. It's gotten more, like a lot of my friends are adopting children, so their expendable cash is not like it used to be, where a gay couple, boy or girl, they could make their salary and then just willy-nilly kind of, but they didn't have to plan for colleges or braces or different things. So now my friends are seeing that their children's education and their health issues and their races. So that's all filtering back into the economy as well. So I think it's a good thing for both. It's very vibrant. I think it's necessary too in the community. I think diversity is just so necessary. It's just so, you drive around some of these neighborhoods and say, oh, that's a cool house, that's cool. If they all look the same, you'd be driving by with no stimulation at all. It'd be kind of, or like going to that 32 flavors of ice cream. God gave us the gift of abundance. So why don't we just admit that that's the truth, and we should all celebrate.
I tell people
diversity.
you wouldn't want to eat. I love okra, and we can can just, you can eat it fresh out of the garden. But you would not want to eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
No.
I think that we needed our our spirits, our souls, our lives depend on it. And so, and diversity comes in so many different
And we learn.
ways.
We learn.
But it's all at the core. That love that you talked about is all at the core. Well, I'm excited. Thank you so much for coming. Oh yes, we can hug. Yes. The last time that we were here, when Reverend Matthews was here, we had to sit 6 feet apart.
Oh, did you?
So yes,
We
we were trying to, figure and high five away. And Reverend Matthews is higher than 95. I forget his. I think he's 95, 96. And so so big. At the time.
Yeah, you want to be cognizant.
Very fragile.
Sure.
We did not have the vaccine or anything like that yet. And so but he was open and willing to share, about that, his whole arc of civil rights and what that means. So to have you to be here to talk about this, but to have you in the spirit of love to be here and for what you do in this community. Thank you. Oh, Lord have mercy. All right, baby now. All right now. Robin and Robin, we go.
We gotta do a little Robin and Robin talk show or something. Would it be Robin and Robin?
Well, I'm 25, so I would go.
Right. Well,
Are you
beauty
at least
before
26?
the beast.
Oh no,
Beauty
no.
before the beast. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Hey, Robin, you tell them what's the name of your consulting business, production business.
How did I forget? Robert Rubino Productions. And so let me tell you, thank you for reminding me of that. We're twins. So when my Robert is the name that my mother called me when I wasn't in trouble and she was feeling good. It was like, Robert, come here. And my dad would call me Rubino. And so, Robert, people would thought that when we started the company now in 2009, so 12 years ago, that Lloyd, as they would go, is can I speak with Mr. Rubino?
That makes sense. That makes total sense. And I would assume that.
It probably could have been Italian, huh?
Yeah, but it's your perception. You think, and then think that it's a guy production, not Robin.
Robert. That was good. Yeah. Well, thank you. So we're going to thank you for being on our show, our last virtual show.
It's nice to not have to Zoom. This was nice.
Well, yes, being
although Zooming was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Thank goodness we had that.
Yeah. To keep
technology.
the connection. That's right.
So we got a couple of questions. One from Facebook. Juanita has a question. She says, as a member of the LGBTQ plus community, do you feel any obligation to patronize LGBTQ plus businesses?
Oh, great question.
Oh, by all means, sure.
Okay.
We did. Matter of fact, there is a couple of Facebook publications that lists gay-owned, and I wouldn't say I would be exclusive to that. But being a for me, I'm assuming that Ronnie was asking that question for me personally. Yeah. Being a native and being a certain age, close to 100 years old, a lot of my friends have this. So I'm using a lot of personal connections I already have.
Yes.
My plumbers and my electricians and my car mechanics and short of a grocery store, which is corporations. I mean, everything. I'm more of a boutique shopper, and if I go out to eat, I do like to go to the local places more so than the national establishments, just to support the local community. So yes.
Would you say that's a strategy that's commonly used in that community? A strategy for wealth building or patronage is to do that?
I think it would be, yes, because a lot of people would be more apt to shop at a place they knew was affirming.
Yes.
I'm part of a group called Sunday's Child, and they give grants to businesses and nonprofits that need help with certain issues. It's very similar to Impact 100, but in order to qualify for that particular grant, you have to have a clause in your corporation about the inclusiveness. And the blacks in there as well, the black issues and the gay issues, as well as any kind of humanitarian issue is required. So, I definitely would not
Okay.
only from this direction, but also that direction as well.
I think that I appreciate that question from Juanita. I think
Yeah,
that goes
very
to how you talk about how often the dollar turns over in a community. And
Yeah.
so does it turn over one time and then it goes outside of the community, so it goes to a national place? Or does it, as you talk about, stay local and then turn over and over in that community?
That would be an interesting study.
Mhm.
It'd be interesting to mark those dollars again.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
did. Maybe have a research of that again, just to see between the gay community and even the Black community and the Jewish community, any kind of to see where those dollars. I think there was a movie that showed a dollar bill where I'm sure it was fictitious, but it showed where that dollar went. It'd be very interesting to see how that's it.
Yeah.
For me, I'd be interested to see how.
Yeah, that would be great. But also like with the advent of e-commerce, it seems to affect the amount of time that a dollar stays in the local community. Yeah.
I think it also expands the community too, so that if you have the ladies who were getting married, that if there wasn't a Randall's here or a dress shop here, that they could find someone through e-commerce, as Lloyd said, and who, as you said, affirms their love and their right to spend money. So even if it goes outside and be comfortable
not
spending,
being forced to have to spend it because there's no other option.
Especially a specialty dress or a boutique.
I never thought that's very good, thought provoking. If someone needed a service and couldn't because they couldn't find a place that would serve them, and that happened years ago.
Sure,
For sure. But,
Okay.
that's still a room that's still.
we still trying, Lord
Yeah,
have mercy.
we
Praying for this nation, we praying for the world.
I mean, that's
Well, that's why we
You
do the
still feel the
Pensacola
pain in that,
Network.
yeah.
That's why
It's
we
a
do
very-
the Pensacola Network.
very
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
We
That's
say we're connecting people and strengthening the community.
And you are.
Exactly
You
why
really
we
are. You really
exactly
are.
why we do it. You said you have another question, babe?
Yeah. Yes. So I'll get to Sandy's question in a second here, but with this idea of like connecting people and strengthening relationships, I was reading a report this morning, and I've been hearing about this for the past month or so. It kind of it's saying that for Black women and minority-owned businesses, it's saying that not being able to connect to resources that they need to grow their business, that's kind of what's holding them back. Is that the networks are not strong enough. And so, we do the Pensacola Network to kind of help people make connections, and then but it's up to them to kind of strengthen those relationships. And so, like when COVID came and they started the PPP loans, the minority businesses didn't have the relationships with the bank to get them.
I read that.
Yeah.
That one of those studies that was done on that, and that's why I'm thankful that our government is, I think they're earmarking for minority businesses owners to recover. They're even pegging that, they're targeting it even better.
Yes,
I think, and hopefully that they can, because it's those mom and pops. That's what America was built on.
Yeah.
And the ethnic situations. How can anyone say they're not ethnic? I have Italian heritage, and my mother was British, and so. What's the difference between from Italy or England or Africa?
Well, it's a preferred ethnicity. So that if you're from a particular African country, then you may have a different preference. Someone may have a different preference in doing business with you. If you're even in South Africa, where they call white South Africans Afrikaans, so that there is still this delineation of it. That Europe as a whole is okay. The preference is more British, right? So if you're from England, you get a little bit higher than Czechoslovakia.
Right.
Is that in Europe? Lord
Yeah.
have mercy.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It might be Asia.
No, that's right. Eastern
Yeah.
Europe. Okay,
It's
all right.
somewhere over there.
All right.
Okay. Let me get to Sandy's question. She says hello, and and she says, has your boutique business witnessed growth coming out of the pandemic with people planning events for the future?
Great. Thank you for Sandy asking that question, because we were one thing we did our other our friendly competitors, the local ones. We were very fortunate in that we've been around for as long as we have, so we could sustain ourselves. But it was a really big struggle, and it is because of the government's help. Those PPP loans, we wouldn't have been able to make payroll. None of our staff our staff personally did not have to go on unemployment, or they all got their salaries and everybody got paid. So and we had some savings that we did have to take out, but that's what it was for. It was for this particular purpose. But we have, to answer Sandy's question more directly, we have, yes, it's coming better. We are because boutique stores were hit hard as restaurants and any kind of service oriented facility work, but we are getting a lot of the events that were postponed or canceled are being rescheduled. They may be at a smaller degree, but a lot of people had, like for the wedding market, they had some civil unions or they got married in the courthouse, but now they're having their big planned event.
Okay.
So and summertime, which is usually our slow time, because it's hot. In Pensacola, we're in flip-flops and t-shirts now, but a lot of weddings are occurring that normally wouldn't have occurred because we're open. We're open for business. Yeah. So we've been, and that we've always had a little trickle during the pandemic of little things that are happening, and not, this is sad to say, but last year we had more clients come in because of funerals.
Oh my goodness.
And
wow.
All the weddings were, but the funerals were still going on, and even though they were smaller scale or down, they still needed pallbearers. They still wanted to honor their loved ones, and so we that was a kind of a sad situation, but because that really increased. Usually it was once in a while, but that was more. Every week somebody was calling because they had to have something for a funeral. But anyway, but that's
even in challenges.
Even in challenging times, but so we now, things are back, not quite back to par, but it's getting there. Thank you for asking, Sandy. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to piggyback off of Sandy's question with his name just escapes me. The Broadway star Billy Porter. Billy Porter, who wore that most fabulous tuxedo, the velvet and the gown. Have you seen over in this kind of arc of how we dress and our styles? Have you seen this arc of where this kind of line of demarcation where men would wear tuxedos and women would wear dresses? Have you seen that kind of change as styles change?
I'm very thankful that segue, because just yesterday we have a really big event coming up in September, and it's very I won't say high end, but it's very, very respected, and it's been going on for almost 20 years. Posh. And we had a fellow that came in, a gay boy that came in for prom, and he was so adorable, and he wore the capri pants. And the lame jacket, and he actually wore like the stiletto type heels. So I called,
as in a tuxedo.
It was all tuxedo, very fitted, looked amazing, and so they're wanting to use them for this big show coming up.
Wow.
Which you see in New York and Milan and Paris and these other places, but for Pensacola to have that approval and to do that.
But even the dollar, so I'm guessing that what Billy Porter wore costs more than a traditional tuxedo. So even the dollar and the increase in the dollar in the styling. Yeah.
They tried to come out with the men's skirts a few years back. That didn't go. But the capri pants are in. The gentlemen are wearing the capri, and they call them Euro pants, or I guess that's more because capri does have a feminine connotation, but they're capri style.
Capri style pants. Okay.
So it is crossing over. It's crossing over, and a lot of the girls, obviously, when they come into our store, they want to wear the tailored tux,
yeah.
not the gowns. And we have both. Sometimes it's one of the girls is going to wear the gown, and the other one's going to wear a tux. Most times when the gentlemen come in, both the men are going to wear the tux. I haven't seen one yet that I recall, or at least I didn't know about it, if one of the boys were.
Gay or straight, women's tuxes are beautiful.
They are, and
Beautiful.
we could dress you up real
Oh,
pretty.
all right, don't
We dress
start
ladies
now.
all
You know our anniversary's coming up, baby. All right now.
For that cruise.
For that cruise that we're going on. Okay, all right. Hint, baby. I think my twin just said something.
I just got you in trouble, I think, Lloyd.
Well, so I was really shocked when you said that people use formal wear for funerals.
Well, yes, and I'll be honest with you. If it's most times this would be like for the grandmother.
Okay.
If her favorite color was pink, then the guys come in, they want to wear the white tux with the pink.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I understand now. Yeah.
And it would be all their, and they didn't necessarily be pallbearers. It was just like the grandsons or the cousins or nephews. They just want to honor them. And I will say most times it was a grandparent, you know.
Okay.
It is a special occasion.
Oh, it's a very special occasion, and it's a celebration. It's a celebration.
Yes.
You know,
Robin, I heard Robin mention something about formal wear for like Mardi Gras or these parades and stuff. Is that something that?
The Mardi Gras balls and.
The balls. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
So I didn't bring that up, but I think I was. If I said it, I totally forgot about it. But Mobile, which is the founding city for Mardi Gras. Do you see way more now because did they cancel Mardi Gras?
They did.
But New Orleans did not. But Mobile
New Orleans had what they called a Yardi Gras.
Okay.
They had some floats out that were just because everybody has a float in New Orleans.
Okay.
They were just small groups, but everybody decorated their yards.
Yardi Gras.
And they called it Yardi Gras.
Love it.
And they had that community is so they've been so battered and beaten. They needed some relief. But in Mobile, at the home of Mardi Gras, it's a lot more. And New Orleans Mardi Gras is a lot more casual, and street parades.
Okay.
And Mobile's very structured and they have street parades as well, but they're very tuxed oriented. They have over 100 crews, male and female.
Wow.
And actually, like gay and lesbian, they have three gay organizations that are sanctioned by the Mardi Gras Carnival Association. So they're really big, and everybody likes to go to them. So they're very popular. And that speaks to people that they will come to our store for those balls because we are gay and operating. Right? And some of the others are just as nice, but they'll come. They're told we'll go to that place because the guy that owns it is gay. So that does help a little bit in that situation. But not I say help. It's just I guess it's just a thing that people do.
I keep saying the money's green. You can be all day long.
We just want to make sure people look good. We don't really care about the money. It's just more about making people happy.
Well, listen, you cannot be in business since 19.
I've been there since 79.
But your business has
we're
been there.
gonna have our 60th anniversary.
Wow, yeah, you can't be in business that long and not worry about the money. I mean, it is people. What is it? People, profit, and the process. But you do have to have the
It makes
profit.
the world go round.
That's right.
That's right.
So tell us about your anniversary. We don't do shout outs on here. Tell us about your anniversary.
We don't have anything planned yet. I mean, I think it comes October of. Actually, oh my God, it's 2022.
Okay.
We'll be our 60th. So I guess we better plan something.
Yes.
We got a year to plan, I guess. So
Yeah.
Better do something. Now.
I'm gonna get my baby in those free tucks.
Yeah.
He got some good legs.
You know what? I'll tell you, the boys. I say the boys. It's nothing I could wear because I'm just too old. I think I'm too old for that kind of stuff, and I have to shape for it. But those guys come out and they look phenomenal. It's amazing. And Pensacola. You were asking about that earlier about fashion stuff. Pensacola is 2 years behind the North.
Wow. Okay.
But the boys that have been doing that up there, it finally trickles down to the South about 2 years later. So
Okay, gotcha.
last year, fashion just stopped. There was nothing.
So maybe we can play catch up now.
Yeah, it may be 1 year now. Be 1 year now. So
So I have a question. Have you noticed or seen any startups trying to disrupt the formal wear industry?
And you saying as far as tech or anything like that?
Yeah. So typically most industries, you have startups, founders come in and they try to figure out a better way to do it, or and
Oh, I see. I understand your question now.
yeah.
Thank you, Lloyd. Yes. Uh, well, like proms, when I was going to prom, it was everybody went to prom. I mean,
Hmm.
it was the thing that you did.
Yeah.
A good time, and it was always just something you never look forward to. It slowly trickled where the students don't really care so much about proms anymore.
Hmm.
They want to go through. A lot of this is just, I think it's a national trend that we go. So things are abbreviated. Like, to answer your question, it used to be with a tux, you wore a certain style shoe. Well, now
Okay.
a fellow will go to a store or online and they will buy a shoe and come to
Okay.
the store and want to match the tux to their shoes.
Wow.
Okay.
And or they'll just want to get the jacket or maybe just the tux shirt or maybe the vest and tie to kind of accent what they're wearing. And I say prom because proms, once again, the 2-year thing, what a student wears to a prom today will set kind of the trend 2 years later for what's going to happen for the wedding attendants. Because we've always had guys in our area that are going to wear the tux top and then wear jeans and boots, because we live in an area that's going to do that. But it's always, to answer your question, I don't know that there's anything that's coming that tries to kind of take away the thunder from the tux. But they are agreeing. We have to go with the flow. Like 10 years ago, you never would have put a student in a capri pant, a capri style pant. Right? It was
Okay.
just the mark of a tux, and you wouldn't wear a tux. It's just like the parents wouldn't allow that to happen. But now,
Yeah.
so and online has helped. It has happened a lot. Like a lot of the students that go online, you can find so many really cool things to wear. And if a student comes in, I say a student, if a groom comes in or a bride comes in, they want something really more avant-garde. There's some shops in Pensacola that we refer them to get that pop of purple, because we're a lot more subtle. Our
Okay.
style. We have some things that really pop, but nothing like some students really want to be I say the Liberace's or and thank y'all for even knowing who Liberace is.
Flamboyant.
They're a little more
and,
flamboyant, a little bit
fabulously
more,
flamboyant. Yeah.
Yeah, our motto is a lady's finest compliment is her formal escort. So we think the men should take a little bit of a back seat and let the lady be the shining star. And so that's how we play.
So I do want to, when you asked that question, I thought about that. I think it was a startup that did a mirror or something like that you could, or not a mirror, a phone that you used your phone as a mirror and measured. So someone would come in to your store and have to measure. But then when you talked about if the groomsmen had groomsmen out of town, then you would, say it may be better for you to go to a national store. But in this case, they used the phone and you could do the measurements.
Like a scan,
and then you could ship your tuxedo to them. Or when they came to town, have the tuxedo ready.
Right, we've had that. Well, we do that all the time because Pensacola said, well, any city now, people, the nuclear family has changed a lot. Mm-hmm. So, like, I have 9 siblings, and there's only 3 of us that live in Pensacola. So it's scattered. So if we have an event, we all have to come back together and do the thing here. But
have you seen that technology?
Oh yeah, I've not seen that. But if someone comes to our store and they're in a wedding in Atlanta, we will take their fitting and give the measurements, and then they can call their group there. Which happens around the country. It's usually a free service. Okay. People do it all the time. So the reason why I mentioned the other stores being open later and having that faculty, some people are more comfortable with that. Mm-hmm. We can do it, and we have everything in stock. So if they come in and they order the 36, but a 38 looks better on them, or that kind of thing, mm-hmm. we can change it like that.
Okay.
It works. It works.
Really?
So we wouldn't be around it if it didn't work. Somehow we figured it out where it works.
Since 1962.
Since 19.
You said 60 years.
1962,
Yeah,
yeah.
1962. That's
Yes.
amazing. Yeah.
I don't see any more questions, so I think we covered it.
Okay. Well, again, please join me in thanking Robert Bellanova with Randall's Formal Wear for talking about the color of money, investment in the LGBT community, and expanding our horizon
Yeah.
on
A lot of
on a
issues.
lot of
Yeah.
issues. Yeah, and I think that's again what this is about. This is our, I'm going to say this, baby, this is our last show,
Yeah.
fully virtual. We will be back July, the fourth Friday in July, in person, and we cannot wait to see you. Tell your friends to come. I'm warning you. Tell me that if you don't want a hug, because I'm coming in for a hug, y'all. I'm just fully vaccinated. I'm gonna have a little extra peppermint up under my nose, and I'll take 2 baths that day or whatever I need to do to be back around people. It's been amazing, and we are grateful that we have even come this far.
Yes.
As you talked about with the industry, the funeral industry has unfortunately really survived because of all the deaths. But we are just grateful. And so thank you to Robert
Thank y'all.
Bellanova with Randall. You can clap for yourself. If you can't clap for yourself, there you go.
Well, the term they're using for both the virtual and in-person events are called hybrid events now. That's the new thing. So we want to make sure everyone have access to the information, and so that's kind of what the deal is there. But we're looking forward, and I'm really excited about our 8th anniversary coming up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Maybe we need to or something. I don't know.
We'll get both of y'all.
I'm liking this idea of like Billy Porter, a tux with a. I don't know if I can.
You'll have to do the
go
skirt. That really was a
that was
fantastic
and
statement.
it was velvet too. He was gorgeous.
And he rocked it.
I think
really
he was,
did.
or maybe the second one was velvet. I don't know.
He rocked it.
Yeah.
I think not to give a segue, I know you, but he was honored. I think there were 10 top fashion. Maybe it was the top 20 of the past couple of years, and I think he was like number 1. I think he won. I think he got first place.
Wow.
With the survey because of his
style,
his
fashion.
avant-gardeness, So
yeah, absolutely.
And this was a gay poll. This was a gay poll. So.
Well, for the non-gays too, we like them too. It don't listen.
Well,
it don't style is style.
He
Fashion
did
is fashion. Love is love. I think we do have one of my she doesn't know this, but one of my fashion icons local. She goes between Detroit and here is Eleanor Johnson, who's an amazing dancer, and she dresses very avant-garde. So every time I say I have a couple of girlfriends, I do hello, and I look right down at their shoes. So that's funny. That's economic development, though. But thank you, thank all of you for joining us today.
All right, and we'll see you all in person and online next month.
Yay!
Thank you.
Yay.
Bye-bye, everybody.